when you have that energy and excitement towards what you're selling, it's infectious. The buyers pick up on that. So that definitely, even in my experience as well, that definitely increases their buy-in, their excitement. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to In the House podcast. I'm your host, Toni Singh.
And I'm Jenny Woon.
And today's topic is a really exciting one. It is 5 tips to help you get hired by a real estate developer.
You know why I chose this topic, Toni?
To help people get hired by a real estate developer.
What I'm noticing more and more in this industry is that the developer are hiring real estate agents, licensed real estate agents who also work in resale. And it's actually happening more and more over the last couple of years. From my perspective, because I actually came from the world of pre-sales first and then went into resale, I have an idea of why there's this trend that's happening.
Oh, well, share with our listeners.
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
is this trend happening?
Well, there was a survey in the past, and I'm sorry, I don't know who did this survey, but I've read somewhere where these real estate sales directors were being interviewed, and they were asked, what is today's biggest challenge in hiring or assembling a real estate sales team? And so, not surprisingly, there were 4 things that came up. So one is getting the word out to advertise the actual available position. So there's a lot of means out there, but there's Indeed, there are industry related websites you can post on. There's universities like BCIT and UBC who are affiliated with the real estate program where you can advertise, but to get qualified people is really hard. So 7% said getting the word out of advertising for the available position. Second thing that came out of that survey is 13% found it hard to manage the entire process, to write up the job description, to post it, then go through the selection process, and then onboard them. So it's the lack of time to be able to find somebody.
So true.
Third,
getting a lack of applications. 27%.
27% said even with the advertising mediums that they were available to them, there were only, it was a very low amount of people submitting their applications. And
okay, so lack of inventory of skilled workers.
Lack of applications. Yeah. And then finally, just getting too many applications that they were not skillful or not qualified enough.
Okay, so they didn't match the job description.
No, exactly. So they were maybe kind of getting a feel of just that they have experience in sales, but not particularly in real estate. Yeah. Maybe they've never worked in a team environment before. So 53%, they were getting too many applications and not enough qualified applications.
I mean, this is a lot of time to go through this entire process. You're hiring and finding the right fit.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, this episode is really useful to you if you are a real estate agent or perhaps somebody that's new to the industry and you're extremely interested in working in pre-sales for a developer selling their brand new homes. It doesn't matter if it's a high-rise or a townhome complex. Guaranteed by listening to this episode, you will get hired if you possess these skills and traits. And no other better person than us to provide these tips because we both have worked in pre-sale.
We both started in pre-sale.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I still to this day work in pre-sale. I'm always hiring. I'm always looking for good talent. And so let's dive right in.
Well, so this is the thing. Just based on what you said there, you do have a lot of experience building teams. So can you share, before we get into the tips and tricks, just a little bit about a little bit more, I guess, about how you're building these teams, and what's happening for you today when you're building the teams to try and get a project up and running in terms of the sales team.
Okay. Sorry, what was your question?
So share with the listeners a little bit more, I guess, about your background, a little bit more in depth.
Sure. So in 2002, I started in pre-sales, and I had soft sales skills in a call center. So, but I had a background in school with business and marketing and advertising, and with those courses came like leadership, understanding economics, knowing how to public speak. And so I wouldn't say I was a natural born salesperson, but I definitely was very interested in being a solopreneur. And that created my first job out of the call center with a developer who basically just primarily does pre-sales. And so, but I have the developers, like for me, what really helped me excel in this business was having the builder's best interest.
Yeah, your client service based.
Totally.
Meaning you're always listening to what the client wants, what their needs are, and you're trying to find active solutions, right, in order to help them.
Yeah. So when I went in as a sales coordinator, I worked extremely hard. Even though the hours were from 12 to 5 p.m., I would work from like 8 a.m.
Good
to
old sales center hours.
9 p.m. And so I would ensure that all the admin was done off time, and then when the doors open and the sales team was there, I was fully engaged on the sales floor with the sales managers. So I treated the project like it was my own business. And so I listened to my client's goal, the client being the developer, so that they would move a volume of sales in a certain month to hit and plan that goal. But I think a lot of my skills came from being like a team player.
Yeah, you have to be a team player.
So understanding the role from administration to being a sales manager, and really being very solutions driven between the developer and the buyer as well.
It's basically like supply chain from start to finish, but curated for real estate marketing.
Exactly.
Okay, well, no, thank you for sharing that with our listeners, just because they might have questions for you specifically about a little bit more about your journey, in which case you guys can reach out to Jenny. But yeah, we'll get into the episode.
How about getting a background of your pre-sale experience for those that are just tapping into our episodes now?
I mean, so when I started real estate in 2010, I had, you guys know, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't work for a team. I started door knocking right away. And my first month, from nothing, I ended up doing 2 sales from nothing, which was great. I didn't think it was good at the time. I was very hard on myself, but I guess when I was at Rennie, they had noticed that I knew how to sell something. So they had asked if I wanted to go on project and start selling pre-sale developments. And that was a really good experience. It was a really good experience. It's a very different side of real estate. I feel like resale and pre-sale, they're clearly related, but it's interesting to me how some pre-sale realtors have a difficult time transitioning into full resale versus, if you have a resale agent that's great at going out and getting business and making something from nothing, they can transition into a strong pre-sale role. But yeah, they do have to be a team player for sure. So I think that's the most important thing.
They'll probably miss the flexibility.
Yeah.
But they know how to hustle and grind.
But I remember back in those days working on the sales floor 12 to 5. So I do my resale from like 7:30 or whatever it was until 11:30 when I needed to leave. 12 to 5, I was like you. I'd be on site. I never did resale on site because I didn't think it was fair to the developers. So at the time, I'd be working for the developer during those hours. And then right from 5 until like 9, I would do my resale stuff. So that was a really long day That back then I'd be sending emails like you at like 3 or 4 in the morning, but now I need some sleep, so it's not going to work.
Yeah. So the way you started was reselling. You dabbled into the pre-sale.
It happened pretty much right away.
Yeah, intertwined.
And then I was doing both.
Right. Okay.
But then I got burnt out. Yeah.
Because I did it first full time. I went into resale, and now I'm actually incorporating both, both really good.
I mean,
heavy
you can
machines
marry them together for sure, but it has to be done in the right way.
Yeah.
Which leads, yes.
This is why there's so many resale realtors now working for developers with a resale business on the side, because number one, lack of qualified candidates.
Yeah.
Also, less overhead for the developer.
Well, yeah, and sometimes these people can find active, creative solutions to problems, right? It's thinking outside of the box and being creative to get the bulk of the home product sold. And you want to maximize the value, right? You don't want to leave money on the table. If you're selling, let's say even if you're selling like 10, 20, could be 100, but you left, I don't know, a couple thousand on each one on the table. That's a lot of money. So, yeah, less leakage.
And they actually have the network. They have the resources to be able to drive those busloads of buyers into the sales center, get them to buy in bulk, and they've done their job.
Yeah, I remember though when pre-sales were not as hot in like 2010, when a lot of people took a bath in those were hard to sell for a while. Anyhow, back to the episode. So here's what you guys need to do to prepare yourself before entering into new home sales, and basically what sales directors are looking for. Okay, so the first one would be active listening skills. This is especially important if you if it's over the phone and you can't read body language or have eye contact, right? So the influx in the voice and the fluidity of the conversation, incredibly important.
It's so important not to judge or jump into conclusions when you're building that rapport and trying to solve that problem for that client. And so the better relationship or connection you have with that purchaser, then most likely you're going to gain their trust a lot faster. And so where you're able to effectively engage with a wide variety of personalities and adversity and age ranges, then it's really important that you understand all their different needs. And you just can't be afraid to ask questions. When you're asking those questions, wait for the reply and don't jump into a response right away.
Yeah, sometimes asking a question and having silence is a good thing.
You were saying something about your son talking about active listening.
Yeah, he came home from school the other day and he said, "Mommy, I'm full body active listening right now. My shoulders are towards you and I'm looking at you and I'm listening with my ears and looking at you with my eyes." I was like, yeah, that's true. That's really funny.
That's such an important skill. I'm glad the teacher is teaching him that.
Yeah, I'm thankful the teacher taught him that. I didn't think to teach him that. Anyhow, what is another thing that somebody would need in order to prepare themselves?
This is so underrated, but so important, because you're in this high-paced, fast-paced, under-pressure environment where decisions need to be made quick.
Yeah.
So your ability to maintain composure and being able to have action-oriented attitude at all times. And so there's going to be time sensitivity that comes up. There's going to be prioritizing, and maybe something gets toppled over and you're laying so many different issues on top of each other because there's multiple workflows due to the number of clients you're dealing with and due to the number of departments you're working with. And so you have to be able to manage that and problem solve.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Lots of things happening at once.
So, in a way as well, what I mean by holding composure is if there's an issue like, I just had an issue where a washer dryer leaked into a townhome, into a brand new place. and this is currently happening at the moment.
Sorry, wait. So it's a new development. They just got.
They haven't taken possession yet.
Oh, okay.
So on their walkthrough, they tested the washer dryer, and
that does happen sometimes. It leaks.
This developer is fantastic to work with. They've never had any issues. Their deficiency list are the cleanest I've ever seen. So, but this washer dryer was part of their rent, I guess, and when they were testing it, somehow the seal wasn't properly installed, and the entire, the water was compiling
everywhere.
Up, and it basically spilled out of the washer dryer onto the floors, went through the flooring, went through the pot lights, damaged the stairs, damaged the baseboards, went down to the bottom floor. And so the funny thing is, okay.
Well, did they know where the emergency water shutoff was?
I think what happened was the site super at that time, they had finished their walkthrough, and then they had turned on the washer dryer again, but I don't really know. I wasn't part of it, the process, the deficiency walkthrough. But the funny thing is that right now the buyer is actually asking for a credit instead of a replacement on the washer dryer. And so, well, no, because part of the purchase price is the washer dryer. We're not going to change your price. You're not going to credit you the price. The funny thing is that he's taking this angle because the buyer had previously asked before he made the offer that he didn't want the washer dryer.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, how coincidental is that? But I'm not saying he did it on purpose, like he damaged the washer dryer on purpose, but coincidentally, ironically, before the offer was made, he's like, I don't want the washer dryer, I want it switched out, or I just want a credit, I want my own. And
or maybe he didn't want it because it's one that's had issues in the past?
No, well, I guess I can't say no because this happened, but the washer dryer was already installed. You can't get a credit for it, right? Warranty already started. And so for me, as the gatekeeper, as representing the client, I said, no, it's part of the purchase price.
Client, of
right.
course.
My
Yes,
client's
100%.
the developer. And so it's so funny. I was the gatekeeper on that, and they never knew about that conversation because why do they need to? It's not important. But now,
what happened?
I think they're still trying to figure out with the washer dryer manufacturer, the supplier, where it's going to, whether it needs to be replaced or something like that. So, anyways, long
I'm
story
sorry
short,
you had to go through that. That's a bit frustrating.
It happens.
It does happen, but it's a
it
bit
will
frustrating.
be turned over brand new. I'm not worried.
Solutions driven,
troubleshooting issues that require a sense of immediacy is so important as a second quality that you need to make the developer's life less hectic and make them
just
more
do
money
it.
in the
Get
business.
Get it done properly.
Yeah.
Okay, another tip.
Yes.
Very important to have genuine enthusiasm for real estate and design. What do we mean by this? So having a solid understanding of any type of product is very, very important. In fact, it's imperative. It's important for the success of the sale, but knowing something and knowing knowledge about it isn't the most important thing. It's not always going to work, right? You have to go that extra mile. Understanding the value and differentiators of the building's offering, possibly even where the building is located. So location is important. And when you have that energy and excitement towards what you're selling, it's infectious. The buyers pick up on that. So that definitely, even in my experience as well, that definitely increases their buy-in, their excitement, their
belief.
understanding, that what they're purchasing is a great product. So I remember my first site, which was Grand Central in Coquitlam. I remember when I first went on the site, you can research the disclosure statement, know what's kind of happening and everything, but what was important to me at the time was also knowing what the belief and value systems were of the actual developer. Intergolf did that project. So I remember, it's not just saying what's there, but capitalizing on the beliefs, value systems of the people who have built it, and also why they designed the building and the amenities a certain way. So that was important. That was a good project to work on.
That's great. And another skill or trait you need to possess is holding this empathetic attitude that you're willing to go the extra mile, that you're willing to help solve buyers' problems, but you also in turn have your teammates' back.
Yeah.
And so by holding that, by putting your ego on the side, on the table, and encouraging collaboration, having an open dialogue that's free of judgment, showing appreciation for others that you're working with, will come back tenfold because they're going to move weights for you. So just ensuring that your shared values are the same as your teammates. And so by being compassionate and by having empathy to a person's journey, purchase journey, through their sales journey, whether you're working with a sales team or whether you're working with a buyer, that you're able to hold it to that situation, and not make it personal.
Which leads, actually, it's related to the last point that we had for this, which was be a team player.
Team playing is extremely important. I kind of find my team so great at it because there's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of fun, but when there's a need to cover each other, when there's a need to help each other out, but we're right there. So I've worked with sales teams with just me and another person, and me and another coordinator. I've worked as large as 9 salespeople on the team, on the sales floor. And so being able to display, again, compassion, being thankful for all of their strengths and for them showing up, that give credit where credit is due, and understand everybody's motivations is so important. So I would say one of the superpowers of being a top salesperson and being hired is to have the carry modesty. And so you're not too concerned about who gets the accolades or who gets the credit, but as long as it gets the job done and results are there, and everybody does their job well, and goals are met,
and there's appreciation for everybody on the team.
Absolutely,
that just makes it fun.
And understanding how everybody wants to receive appreciation.
That's true.
Whether it be a verbal, whether it be a recognition in front of a group, or it could be a gift card. So there's many ways to give recognition.
I just thought of that other book, what is it, The 5 Love Languages? That would probably be relevant here for how they like to receive.
What is your love language?
Guess.
I would say not physical touch.
No, I don't like physical touch.
It's like last on your list. I don't think you need words of affirmation. I feel like you're a super confident person. Quality time.
Yes.
Quality time. And then there's acts of service and gift giving. So I don't know. I wouldn't even say acts of service probably is a second
Yeah, I don't
one.
like gifts. I don't need them.
Okay, yeah. Because you could buy your own.
It doesn't resonate. I like giving gifts. I love giving gifts.
Yeah,
I don't like receiving gifts. What's your love language?
Guess.
Okay. I feel like you wouldn't need to be affirmations either, really, because you're very confident yourself. Is that accurate?
I think it's different in a personal relationship.
Yeah, I was going to say sometimes it's different in a personal relationship versus business relationship.
Okay, so business wise.
Yeah.
I would probably say, oh gosh.
I know it's different.
Yeah, totally. It's like maybe acts of service because I want you to want to do it. Like I want you to go above and beyond because you are kind and you want to. But that's not, I'm not trying to put it on that other person, but that's what I would like to see.
Are team members of Jenny listening to this episode?
I'm very low maintenance for it.
I know you are.
So personally, I love like quality time.
Yeah, I think that's important. You definitely love quality time.
Yeah.
You also like quality time with yourself though, in nature though, right?
Absolutely.
Like you need that to
First and
recharge. I
foremost.
love that too.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's go on to the next portion. We veered off topic, but we're getting back on.
Yeah, so these skills, traits, attributes, whatever you want to call them, whether you're interviewing for an entry-level sales position, whether you're stepping into an executive position, or middle management, from a sales associate to a sales manager, these skills, these 5 skills will carry you all the way through to for a long-term career if you want to stay in pre-sales.
Yeah, I think these skills are important for any type of salesperson, actually. So if you want to generalize it, absolutely. This would help if you wanted to sell pre-sale projects and, of course, work for developer builders. And also, I think these are also really important skills for success in any type of sales role in general. Right? Like the empathy, active listening, team player, all of those kinds of things. But we've just framed it in this type of environment.
I just know that when I'm hiring someone, these are the questions that I'm asking them. I'm asking them real life situations where they've had to apply these 5.
That's really important.
5 traits. And so that's important to me. I can teach anyone how to write a sales contract. I can teach anyone how to use a CRM. But if they don't hold these 5, I find that it'll be a very difficult hire.
So that's similar. It's
costly.
Values and belief systems too, right? So you're looking for that. You can basically teach them the tasks. Yeah,
absolutely. So guys, if there's anything that you want to add to this that you feel would our listeners would benefit, or if you know that someone is trying to get into the pre-sale business but don't know where to start, connect them with us, because we have many connections in the business, but also I'm pretty sure that this information will be useful to someone that you know that doesn't know how to get into the business and don't know where to start. So we appreciate you guys listening and sharing it with your friends and peers, and don't forget that we are available on Spotify, on
Apple Podcasts,
Amazon, IGTV, YouTube. But thanks, guys, for listening, and be sure to subscribe and follow us and rate us 5 stars and give us a review. We always appreciate your feedback.
If you have questions.
Thanks, guys.